Let's try this again and see how we're rolling. And I hope we are good to go this time. So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm hoping everybody can join me for just a few minutes. Um, it is Monday afternoon. We've had some rain, which we actually kind of desperately needed even after the long month of May, which we had nothing but rain. We were kind of inundated with no rain for a few weeks now, so we need some. So I wanted to touch base with everybody today because it's been a while since I've had a live, and it's definitely been a while since I've used the equipment. So thanks for bearing with me. This is take 3 of the live for today. So I'm hoping that we don't have to do take 4. So welcome. Happy Monday. And I'm hoping everybody is doing really great today. Okay, so let's get started with some hot news. We're going to talk about where our clients are traveling right now. We have clients right now in Costa Rica. We have clients on their way back from Lake Tahoe. And we also have clients that are in Universal right now. So that's pretty awesome. Some really big trips. So we were excited about all of those arriving, on time. And we were worried. We're always worried when we have clients traveling because we just don't know what could happen, especially with air travel nowadays. There's just been so much shuffling of flights and schedules, and it's weather is interfering in a lot of things, but so far so good. I'm going to knock on wood. All travels have been going greatly this weekend. So if you haven't had a chance, check out some of the photos that we've posted on our Facebook page or Instagram page that our clients shared from their travels to Costa Rica and Lake Tahoe. I learned how to ski in Lake Tahoe, so I know it is an absolutely breathtaking, spectacular area. I've not been lucky enough to go to Costa Rica yet, so I'm very much enjoying the pictures from Sue and Chris in Costa Rica. So take a look at those pictures. In the upcoming weeks, we have some more friends going to Universal. We have some friends going to Disney. We have several people going to Florida for vacation rental type packages. We've got some people going to Maine, up there in the coast of Maine. If you watched Uncharted last week, Gordon Ramsay was up in Maine learning how to cook all the seafood that Maine has to offer. So those are some exciting trips that are coming up in the month of July for some of our clients. We're looking at a Hawaii package for another client right now. And then myself and one of our associates, Melissa, and several friends will be traveling to Cancun in a couple weeks. And we'll be spending a week there. We'll be staying at one resort and traveling to several of the different resorts to do site inspections. So make sure you stay tuned for those photos because those are going to be fantastic. I'll also be at one of the resorts picking out a vow renewal location for one of our clients who's going to do a vow renewal, which I think is pretty cool. I've never picked out a spot for something like that, so I'm pretty excited about that. We will, myself and my associate Melissa, will be staying at 2 different resorts, and then we'll also be doing site inspections for some of those, so make sure you stay tuned for those. In the upcoming months, we also have clients going to Hawaii, New York City, lots of Universal, lots of Disney. They seem to be a hot commodity this summer, as well as the beach, obviously. Pretty much what we've seen is that everybody who normally typically takes a cruise during the summer months, because they're teachers or they have that vacation time in the summer, they're traveling to destinations domestically. If they have a passport, we've seen lots of travel down to the Caribbean. But the law of supply and demand is extremely on target right now. And when I say extremely on target, that means if you've not booked your vacation for 2021, particularly the summer of 2021, and you want a last minute trip, it's going to be tough to find a location that has availability. B, if you do find availability, if we find something for you, be prepared for sticker shock, because it is going to cost more than it normally would in a pre-COVID environment. So now we have all this post-COVID travel that's happening. It's just been booming. People are just excited and ready to travel, and they're rolling. Oh, Leslie, you guys loved your beach week. Yeah, you had a good week down in the Galveston area. Thanks for that. And they did a great vacation rental. I think the house that they rented was 16 people. It held 16 people. And so Leslie and her fam had a great few days celebrating their parents' anniversary down in Galveston. So my train of thought. So, law of supply and demand. If you have not booked your vacation for 2021 yet, and you want to travel in 2021, I'm preaching, and I've been saying this and saying this, if you've not done it yet, you need to get it locked in and booked. Because there is no availability, especially if you're wanting to go to Florida, to one of the beach properties, anywhere from Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, and Alabama, all the way down to Panama City. There is this open in inventory. If you're lucky enough to find something, it is pricey. On my way down to Cape St. Blas, we stayed in a Hampton Inn in Fort Walton Beach, and I won't even tell you what that Hampton Inn, which is normally not a luxury product, and by no means was it, what we paid for that. So I will be heading back to Cape St. Blas in September with my friend Tammy, so I'm excited because that is scallop season in Cape St. Blas. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so let's talk about some travel updates. Europe. Whoop! Europe is opening. The EU last week said that they passed an edict. You know, they're very much like the CDC. What they say are guidelines. So each state in the the European Union can choose how they're going to follow these edicts. But the travel restrictions for Americans and other international travelers, with the exception of about half a dozen, is now open or opening for us to travel. So those countries that are open for travel, and Greece has actually been open since the middle of May, the countries that are now opening up for travel are France, Italy, Spain, and Croatia. Croatia has actually been open for several weeks as well. So the new ones are France, Italy, and Spain. Are there restrictions? Yes. They are releasing those on a daily basis, weekly basis, and some of the restrictions will be, it's only going to be for vaccinated travelers, and if you're not vaccinated, you have to have a pre-test, post-test. You may even have to take a test upon arrival. So those restrictions and guidelines are being released. The countries that have not said when they're opening or said that it's going to be sometime, they're going to be releasing that news sometime this week, are Germany, Portugal, possibly the UK. Ireland is opening as well. So there is hope for some travel to happen in Europe in 2021. Do you still need to be cautious? Absolutely. When we look at travel for 2021, regardless of whether it's international or domestic, number one, we have to look at the travel restrictions that are in place for that location, that destination. Number two, we are going to firmly advise you to buy travel protection on your travel package. failing to do so in today's travel environment, you are putting your hard-earned dollars at risk. We hope that nothing happens. It's unlikely that, something will, that we get shut down again or anything along those lines. However, you need to be prepared. If 2020 has taught us anything, it's the value, number one, of using a travel advisor to plan your travel and help you through all the hoops and loops that you have to go through to travel now, and the value of travel protection. Leslie, she's got her real ID working and her passport. Fantastic. Leslie, I think, wants to come to Bali with me when I do some bucket list travel in 2023, which would be fabulous. So those loops that you have to jump through when you travel now, they're real. Are they going to go away anytime soon? Probably not. By 2022, things will probably be a little bit more streamlined and focused as to what is in place for each country or destination, because right now it's all over the place. In the Caribbean islands, some require pre-travel testing, some require no testing, some require, the testing has to be done in a particular window. So it's very complicated. And if you're trying to navigate all those hoops and loops by yourself, best of luck to you. But that's what we're here for. My Costa Rica clients, for instance, I met with them 2 or 3 times before their travel just to make sure we had all our I's dotted and all our T's crossed. Travel is possible, but you just have to know how to do it. Hawaii is another one of those destinations where things are a little bit more complicated. However, the restrictions in Hawaii have been loosening. So right now, for vaccinated Hawaiians, if you were vaccinated in Hawaii, you no longer need a COVID test to travel inter-island. So those restrictions have been lifted. Once Hawaii gets to 70% of their population being vaccinated, they will no longer require incoming travelers to have a COVID test, a negative COVID test prior to travel. So that's great news. I have a client traveling to Hawaii in September, so I'm crossing my fingers that that's one less hoop that we have to jump when she gets ready to travel. I mean, if she does, we'll make it happen, and we have the set standards of what test needs to be done and when it needs to be done. So we'll just make sure it happens. So that's what's going on in Europe. That's what's going on with some of our other updates. I think the big question of the day, and a lot of our clients are cruise clients, and we love our cruise clients. God bless America. I want to be on a cruise ship more than anybody. I literally 2 weeks ago sealed my cruise for September with my sister, and less than 5 minutes, I was in the process of getting my Wi-Fi package for that cruise. Got an email from Royal Caribbean that particular sailing had been canceled. So here's the thing with what's going on. Let's talk about Royal Caribbean first. Oh, goodness gracious. I popped you a map. Look at that. So this is what's returning to the U.S. and Europe in 2021 with Royal Caribbean. In Alaska, Royal Caribbean will return to the seas, only sailing from Seattle. Remember, Canada is still closed. And right now, Canada is not talking about opening up. They're going to reevaluate whether they're going to open borders up, not until the end of July. And that's when they're going to reevaluate. So all cruises in Alaska will be leaving from Seattle. And then it's a round trip back to Seattle so that they do not touch any Canadian ports. So Alaska will have the Serenade of the Seas starting in July, and then the Ovation of the Seas starting in August. In the Bahamas, I had good CP friends that just sailed on the very first Adventure of the Seas sailing that went down to the Bahamas, and I was watching their pictures and I was super jealous. But in July, the Freedom of the Seas will start, the Odyssey. In August, the Allure, the Symphony, the Independence, and the Mariner of the Seas will all start. If you notice, nothing is starting from Galveston yet, which is unfortunate, and which is one of the reasons that one of my sailings was canceled. In Europe, in July, the sailings will happen from the UK to Europe, to those countries that are open in Europe. So some itinerary shuffling is going to happen. Also, the Jewel of the Seas is going to do Cyprus to Europe, and in August, Spain to Europe on the Harmony. So that's some really great news from the Royal Caribbean Group. Now, the big question of the day is, what do I need to do to be on one of those sailings? What do I need? Do I need a COVID vaccination? Do I need a COVID test? And that's a complicated question. And each of those sailings right now is requiring different things. So the sailings in Alaska are only open to vaccinated travelers. 5% or a very small percentage of each of those sailings is available to non-vaccinated, but you have to either be under the age of 12, or you have medical reasons not to have received the vaccine. The ones that are happening in the Caribbean, also because those are small ports, those are requiring vaccinations. What's going to happen here in the U.S. is that the Royal Caribbean Group has recommended that you have a vaccination. You also have to provide a negative COVID test, and right now that is at your cost at the port. For those that are diehard cruisers, you're going to do it. It is what we have to do in 2021 to start shifting back to some kind of normal. So, the cruises that are happening with Royal Caribbean in the U.S. from U.S. ports in the month of July are called test cruises. There'll be several test cruises, and Royal opted to do the test cruises so that they would not have to require all their passengers from U.S. ports to be vaccinated. Let's flip that, and Carnival, surprisingly, has decided not to do test cruises, and at this time they are requiring it, which is kind of unusual. I thought it would be the other way around, honestly, because Carnival is definitely a family ship, even though Royal Caribbean, specializes in families as well. If those of you who are Carnival clients, you know that it's very family oriented, lots of fun, things happening all the time. So there's some things ironing out with that right now. There's also a lawsuit that Governor DeSantis of Florida introduced, and last week a federal court ruled in the state of Florida's favor that the CDC mandates were unreasonable for cruise lines. So basically, in a nutshell, they're saying that the CDC requirements for people to be vaccinated to get on a ship are not valid. How that will pan out? Yeah, DeSantis does rock, Wendy. I'm going to have to say I would vote for him. No politics. We like to see forward motion, forward action, and DeSantis has definitely taken a firm stand to get his economy and his state back on solid ground. So how that plays out as far as Carnival is concerned, I think it's going to be, the next couple of weeks are going to be critical, whether it's going to be overturned and Carnival will still be required to have proof of vaccination to do their sailings that are supposed to start in July. One ship from the port of Galveston and one ship from the port of Miami. So we'll see. I'm watching that. Those updates they come in pretty much every day. So I'll keep you guys updated. I share news articles pretty frequently on our page that has those important updates. So keep an eye out on the things that we share on our page. They're pretty valuable as far as those of you who are planning travel. If you're planning travel with us, we're going to keep it on top of that for you. No need for you to keep on top of it, because that's what we're for. So that's pretty much what we've got going on in our little neck of the world. In the upcoming weeks, I'm going to do some spotlights on our different associates and what their specialties are. Our associate Melissa has been hot and heavy in the Disney and Universal bookings, which is fantastic. A lot of people are traveling in that direction, especially while school is out. Angie just took a fabulous trip up to Florida and Georgia and shared all kinds of pictures on our Facebook page. So make sure you keep updated with our travels, because that may be someplace you want to go. So I'm going to be doing a short spotlight on each of them. I'll do it probably maybe a live and some clips on our Facebook page, so that you can be a little bit more familiar. If you contact me for instance, for a domestic package, and I've not traveled to that area, I would maybe pass it off to Angie or Melissa, not because I don't want to work with you, but because that's their area of expertise. Obviously, I want to make sure that we have the most knowledge on the table for you at all times. And if I've not been there, even though I can do the research, but one of my associates has more knowledge with feet on the ground, I think that's a win-win for both of us. So I'm going to talk about our groups really quickly, and then I'm going to let you all go. We have so many groups put together that are traveling in the next year. It's just been phenomenal. Our Greece package that is going at the end of May 2022 only has one cabin left. 2 people, 1 cabin. We would love for one of you to be one of those. So please get in touch with us if you want to join us in Greece. It is a celestial cruise sailing on the Celestial Experience, and I've been watching some of my CP friends sailing with Celestial, their very first cruise that took to the water this past week, and the pictures are just amazing to die for. I can't wait. Our Ireland trip has 5 people booked into it. We have 2 more spots. That's the Best of Ireland in July of 2022. That's also an escorted group. I'll be traveling with that group as well. I have started talking to a friend of mine, and we decided that in between Greece and Ireland, we're going to do a short 4 to 5 day girls trip to Cancun next June. So keep your eyes open on that. I think that's just going to be a girls only. We're going to pick a fun adults only resort, and hopefully some of you will join us with that. We have several cruise groups going. We have a Bahamas sailing next April. We have a sailing at the end of July, sailing out of Galveston. Both of those sailings are out of Galveston. That's a Western Caribbean. We've got one leaving from Port of Miami in April, another one leaving from Port of Galveston in April. So we have a lot of cruise groups going. And the advantage of doing any kind of group travel, it doesn't mean you have to hang out with us, although sometimes that's kind of fun. It means you're getting the best price advantage and sometimes some nice extra amenities, which is awesome. Like if you're doing a hotel, Greece is going to be fantastic. Yes, it is, Melissa. I can't wait. The group amenities, for instance, if you're booking a group into a resort in Mexico, in all-inclusive. So each resort has their own standards, but typically 5 double occupancy rooms means that there's possibly a free berth or free room for that next person. It's either 5 or 8 rooms, usually anywhere between there. So if you have a group of friends that want to travel together, then let's book that resort now. Put a deposit on it. Because what else we're seeing is that travel into 2022 is booking solid. We have been very busy with 2021 travel, which is great. But we're also seeing requests for 2022 and 2023. We have a group sailing on Windstar in January of 2023. It's actually my 60th birthday sailing. That's also a group, so if you'd like to join us on that. We have all this information posted on our Facebook page. At any time, you see that website that we have right there, and there's my phone number. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, on Google. I had an Instagram picture up there. I'm not quite sure where that went. I think that went by the wayside with all the technology goofs. So we are on Instagram, and I usually post on both those medias and on Google pretty frequently. YouTube, I post all our videos on YouTube, and then when I'm down in Cancun, I have a new camera set up thanks to my hubby that I will be doing some great video shoots down in Cancun while I'm there. I'm looking forward to it. The sargassum has been a little rough in Cancun the past couple weeks, so that's been a little off-putting for some people who are traveling down there. But I have swam in oceans all over the world, so seaweed, I'm good with it. If the beach is bad, you go to the pool. Or you take a catamaran out and you go past the sargassum and you do some snorkeling offshore. That's how you can't let a little oops in the travel plans. You want everything to be perfect, but you also have to be flexible so that you can enjoy your trip to the max. Melissa said, thanks, babe, for setting us up with the new camera equipment so we can do our videos down there. Okay. I think I have covered just about everything. We have some fabulous client packets going out. We've got some people going to Turks and Caicos as well. It's actually my first Turks and Caicos booking. I have trip envy. I pretty much have trip envy almost every trip that I book. Yellowstone, Colorado, Lake Tahoe. I was getting, really touchy-feely when I was looking at all the pictures that our clients were posting. I'm like, man, I've skied there. I've hiked there. That's an awesome place. So I do get trip envy, especially when you go to those destinations that are on my bucket lists. So make those bucket lists. Let's talk about getting your plans solidified for 2022. Watch our updates as far as what's happening in the cruise sector. I think once the cruises do hit the water and things are running and it's fluid, I think we're going to be inundated. We're ready to be inundated. We want people to travel. 2023 is the bucket list year. I was actually looking at a Tahiti, Papeete to Papeete on Windstar yesterday for towards the end of 2023. Because that is my bucket list year. 2022, we've got lots of trips going. If you have an idea for the latter half of 2022, August on, shoot me an email, shoot me a message, talk to one of us. I'm looking for some ideas that some people might be interested in. Alaska's been brought up a number of times, the Dominican Republic, where I'll be going in August. All those places are great. But I am looking for some ideas for another escorted group for the latter half of 2022. So if you have something and you'd like me to look at it and put together a group, give me a buzz or give one of us a buzz and we'll make it happen. All right. If I don't have any questions or anything else that anybody wants to comment, I'm going to put this take 3 to rest. I've learned a lot putting this together. I think I'm going to try a slideshow the next time. Knock on wood. I might need a drink for that. But I appreciate you guys tuning in today, and I hope you have a good rest of your week. And happy Monday. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.